To kick this on the FM, here we go. Good morning, this is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart, it's just after 9 o'clock. My name's Gardy. I have Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio. Dr. Chapa, how you doing? First of all, we have another guest here as well.
How exciting. We have a little protege in the house.
Yes, a future doctor, I assume, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, so this is Molly. Molly's hanging out with me today. We're going to go, after we leave here, Anchor Point Ministries, a program that we support in League City, Texas. They integrate families, help adopted children integrate into families. They help children learn how to be, received by mom and dad, and it's a fantastic program. They have a full medical, integration program for people that are needing birth services and whatnot, and they're right here in League City. I mean, and it's just a fantastic 37 seconds with Debbie and Scott Simons blew my mind, and I was just totally in love with the program that they have. And for the last 40 years, I believe, I think 4 or 5, I've been teaching a class that they offer to families that are integrating adopted children into their homes, and they work on all kinds of different things throughout the week, and they give me an opportunity to teach about nutrition. And so that's what we're going to go after here. And so we got a fun-filled day of just being in the presence of people, sharing a message of hope and wellness, and teaching people how to live better, be better, stay better, one bite at a time. So without, I couldn't do it without a great team, and God's given me a great opportunity to have Molly as one of the team members at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center.
It's a pleasure and an honor to serve along people who love God as much as I do and love to serve people as much as I want to.
So, Molly, we've been talking about thyroid all month long, and from what I understand, you're responsible for helping, I guess, put all of Dr. Chapa's thoughts onto paper so we can have a path to take a journey. Is that correct?
Between Jennifer Withy and I, we Chapa's full of amazing thoughts, and God has just given him the gift to think outside the box and to be a blessing to people. And sometimes he just needs a translator. So that's Jennifer Withy's, and I. That's what we take pride in, is translating the creativity into.
So what she really means there is the creativity means chaos. That was a nice way of saying chaos. That's what I think I heard. But at the end of the day, it does. In any great endeavor, any great plan, vision, mission, it takes a team of people that are in love with the vision. And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the foundational, fundamental backbone that allows your body to either fall apart or to get traction and move forward in a direction that you're proud of and excited about. And that we can do it without drugs and surgery. That is really the fundamental vision, is that we get sick people well without drugs and surgery. And that's what gets me fired up. That's what gets me up out of bed every day. That's what allows me to go into the clinic and battle it out with the processes, the symptoms, the challenges, the obstacles, the reasons, the excuses that people want to are faced with day in and day out, because we're all faced with whatever it is as an obstacle in our path to being the best version of ourselves. And we see it in medicine. Medicine today, there's 3 types of medicine that we know. We've got the standard entry point into medicine, where we call that the allopathic model. And you go into that model as a form of illness, like something's wrong. You broke an arm, you broke a leg, you got a cold, you got a flu, you got a fever, you got some sort of digestive issue or skin issue, something that's symptom-based, right? That's allopathic. But the problem is that there's no alternative in that realm. It's just drugs, it's just therapy, it's just surgery, and we're trying to arrest the symptoms. We don't actually teach the body how to deal with the symptoms. And then the suffering is eased, so comfort comes in, but no real change or lifestyle modifications made, and no change or evolution or genetic modulation occurs. And from a wellness perspective, they have nothing in the form of treatment in that model. And then about, I guess, 10 years ago, the functional medicine guys really came on the scene, and their entry point from an illness and wellness came from, okay, what is the cause of the symptom? Where did that headache come from. If it's in your eyes, it could be infection. If it's in the base of your head, it could be digestion. If you can't stay asleep at night, it's your adrenal glands, which I believe we're going to talk about today. And the functional path that we're looking at is, all right, well, we need to assess for optimal function in all systems of the body, and then we start looking at a different system to change the environment that the person's living in order to get lifestyle and nutritional basis under control, and we can see a change in overall symptom patterns that they have. But for me, that's kind of an extension of like, okay, people come in to see us with joint pains, or they come to see us with a rash, or they come to see us with a headache or belly aches or stuff like that. So I still have a little bit of I see that functional side as a little bit of a just treat this symptom with this nutrient, and it can be done, and that's cool. I mean, chamomile marshmallow, how could we live without chamomile marshmallow?
It would be pretty difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, because belly pain is a real thing that people deal with. The other day, my dog has got the grumble in her tummy. And I'm like, it's going to be a chamomile marshmallow morning. So I've got a chamomile marshmallow that I made at my office that says 4 dogs. Because I don't want to, suck her slob. You know what I mean? It'd probably be okay. It'd probably be like herd immunity.
I mean, it could be like Ellie and Tally's.
Yes, right. It could be.
They're
both like on the ground.
So you gave it to your dog?
Of course. I just sit down there, opened up her mouth, squirted 2 squirts in, and then let her go outside and piddle around a little bit. She came back in, still a little bit of noisy bowels, and hit her again with 2 more doses. I didn't hit her, by the way. Sorry for those that heard that. They kind of came in right when I said that, but I gave her 2 dropperfuls of chamomile marshmallow, and it soothes the digestive tract. And literally within 30 minutes, she was fine as frog hair. And but if I wouldn't have done that, she would have gone out into the backyard, and she would have eaten the grass, and then she would have vomited. And, so, think about it. Like, the dog can't communicate, hey, I got belly pain. We've got to listen for the symptoms. And that's where transformational medicine really comes in for me, is I'm always looking for ways to, like, drive the physiology to a whole new level. What part of the watch tells time?
It's all of it.
It's all of it, right? Like, there's no way that we can take any part out and expect it to work and run effectively. And transformational medicine is change-based. It's an assessment where we look at upregulating the body in a system-by-system-by-system approach. I had a guy, I see him every quarter. I build him a 3-month protocol. Last month, we were working on liver, and the month prior, some gut work. So we did some gut work to clean out the path of his elimination pathways. And then we came in and stimulated that liver to start doing some of the 600 pathways that it's involved in working with. I think all pathways, but I mean, we know scientifically 600 at least that the liver's involved with in order to detox trash out of the body. And this month and next month, we're going to work on blood cleansing. And we're going to be working on how we're going to build and clean out the blood and make the lifeblood more rich for this guy, because he has no symptoms. He feels great, but functional and or allopathic medicine stops there. If there's nothing to work on, they have nothing to work on. I have stuff that we can work on, because I'm always pushing you past that point where, hey, I know the watch needs the gears oiled. I know the metaphoric oil filter needs to be changed. I know the tires need to be rotated. We don't want to wait for stuff to happen. It's easy. So in the beginning, disease is so hard to recognize but easy to fix. But in the end, disease is easy to recognize and hard to fix. And nobody likes that because there's so much suffering involved. So if you do a little bit of premeditated suffering, it's easing the suffering. Like, you don't actually suffer as much whenever you're doing transformational medicine. And that is something I want to enroll people in. That is what Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center really believes in. Like, how do we get you to that point where it's true transformational, not just allopathic, symptom-based, oh, I'm sorry that you got belly pain, here, take this chamomile marshmallow. Works all day long. Here, eat this root. Y'all have heard me say that. Who loves that? The roots, right? And but at the end of the day, what we stand for is taking you beyond just this idea that you've got a symptom or you've got an ailment or you've got a diagnosis and working you through that. We want to get you to where literally you recognize that your body is a temple of the living God, that you can honor the Lord with your body. Romans 12:1, I beseech thee therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living sacrifice. That wasn't me chopping. That was just me repeating myself. Holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. You know, that's one of my favorite passages, Romans 12:1. And I pray people grab it and realize, like, okay, like, what is it to honor the Lord with your body? I mean, if you're not fully functional in spirit, mind, and body, are you able to fully be used at your God-given potential? And I think the answer is no. Now, can God move past our insufficiencies? Of course. He's God. But man, wouldn't it be more fun to work in sync with the Lord than to have to be eaten by a whale? I mean, I don't really think I need to be eaten by a whale. Jonah, you know? Y'all catching my drift here?
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Drift? I'm on a roll this
Oh
morning.
my gosh. I think healing too indicates a type of change happening. So if you stop a symptom with, whether it's an herb or a medicine, if you stop the symptom, then the healing hasn't happened yet. In order for the healing to happen, a change in your body or your spirit or your mind has to take place. So we have to go past stopping the system in order for healing to actually manifest.
Absolutely.
Makes sense, yeah.
And I think you know, but I would say this: I don't know that herbs necessarily always stop. You know, it's just like people always say, "Well, I thought the fever was good. Why would you want the fever to go away with sesame seed oil or coral, right? Or the golden seal or echinacea or chaparral, like these different herbs that we use." And what I want to push people to see too is that we're not actually stopping the fever, or we're not suppressing the belly pain. We're giving the body an edge, a sharper edged sword to go fight the good fight with. So the fever doesn't need to run at 102 if it can handle it at 99. Doesn't that make sense? And so if the body can handle it at 99 because it's got an upper hand on the infectious process, then we're supporting the body's, we're coaching the body in the sparring ring. We're teaching it how to deal with this and how to deal with that. I mean, the body's exposed to so many different pathogens, whether parasitic, fungal, viral, or bacterial. And, you know, I people have come to me and said, you know, and we'll get on the topic after this, but I mean, it's just important, I think. People say to me, you know, well, this is a man-made virus, this COVID thing, right? It's man-made. The body's never seen this before. And I go, okay, well, that's fine. You know, I've never seen, met an Aborigines person. You know, I think they live in Australia is what my stereotype would go to, right? But if I met an Aborigines person that didn't even speak English, I would still be able to interact with that human because he's human or she is human. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Your body has seen so many viruses over your lifetime. I'm going to use the word trillion times it's seen a virus. There's trillions of viruses. And your body has seen them. If it's man-made, if it's God-made, if it's, you know, if it's wherever it's there, your body has seen enough times, hey, this is a virus. And this is how I deal with viruses. I normally stick my hand out and shake its hand, or some sort of gesture of peace. And if it shows some sort of, you know, contrary to peace, then I might put up my dukes, and then I might strategically figure out, well, this might not go well, so I'm going to have to bring in reinforcements in order to, you know, go about mounting an attack. And I'm going to go through these processes that I have developed over the 40 years that I've been on the planet and dealing with, you know, viruses, or I've been dealing with pathogens, or I've been dealing with humans. And so the body is always learning. It's always adapting. It's always evolving, if you will, and it's always degenerating. The goal is functionally and transformationally is to make sure that we're regenerating faster than we are degenerating from a wellness perspective, and make sure that you don't, like Molly said, suppress those symptoms. We don't want to turn off the engine. That's what medicine does. Let's cut the legs out from under you. No. Let's not do that. Somebody asked me yesterday, why not aspirin? Why can't I take aspirin to thin my blood? I said, well, because there's just so many better ways to do it. And the last time I checked, aspirin doesn't grow on a tree. It doesn't grow in the ground. It's a chemical drug that's in a lab that is not normal to the body. And then, okay, I know what you're asking. How does it really damage the body? Well, it eats the lining of the stomach. That's not a good plan either. The number one thing you don't want to lose is your stomach. So that's why I'm, rabbit trail, what else is new? I look at, people that have these different GI problems with bypasses and stuff, and they don't realize the degenerative change that occurs whenever they break down their gut. All of those biochemical stresses, all of the lifestyle stresses, all of the circumstantial situations we get into brings us to our topic of the day, which is our adrenal glands. Our adrenal glands are our stress management system. So how does one deal with stress? Any ideas?
Yeah, people will usually self-medicate with like alcohol, try and ignore it, bury it deep down inside. I don't know, probably a bunch of ways that they saw their parents do it, watch TV, try and distract themselves.
Yeah. Molly, you got anything?
A lot of people work out or even just do nothing and just suppress the stress instead of deal with it.
Just live stressed.
Yeah. And typically you can't live that way and ever really expect to have a smile on your face or be inviting, right? Like if I call it emotional BO. Have you ever walked into it? You've been somewhere and somebody walks in and they have emotional BO, and you're just like, oh my gosh, good Lord, what just walked in that door? You know what I mean? And man, you can see it on their face. You can see it on their emotions on their sleeve, and it's routine. Every time you see this person, you just know, oh, here comes Debbie Downer. Here comes that situation. And sorry if your name's Debbie, I didn't mean that to you. But the reality is your adrenal glands help you manage the different stresses that you deal with. Whether you're dealing with postpartum, that's the life after your baby comes out of the womb, and or you're in your 20s and you're on 6 or 7 different psychiatric medications and you're suicidal, or you just have anxiety attacks and panic attacks because you're overwhelmed, or you just don't know how to control situations and you don't handle change well, and your mind is riveling with like chaotic thoughts, and you can't organize the, so to speak, the synchronicity of your synapses in your brain, and you feel that sense like of out of control or panic. Those are signs and symptoms that your adrenal glands are not managing the stress that you're dealing with. If you find yourself unable to fall asleep, stay asleep, or wake up more tired in the morning when you wake up than when you went to bed, those are strong indicators that your adrenals weren't able to keep you in a healthy, suppressed, subconscious state while you were supposed to be regenerating and detoxing. There's just so many, goes back to what part of the watch tells time. There's so many things happening when we sleep. There's so many things happening when we're awake. There's so many things happening whenever our adrenaline gets hit with a stressor. And we have to take care of our adrenal system.
Taking care of the adrenal system. So how do we do that?
Yeah. So, I've learned that not everybody's. Have you ever met people that are just calm, cool, collected, and they just, life never seems to affect them? Like I like to take a little bit about what they got, right? But God didn't wire me that way. I mean, everybody harasses me about shaking my legs on the radio and all this stuff, never. But I'm a high energy, high stress, type A, go time all the time. I mean, poor Molly is just been drug through the mud this morning with me, and I mean it's just like, woo, 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 here we go, now, and it's just like it's fast and furious, and one thing's for sure, when I turn this body in to the Lord, it's going to have been used. There's going to have been miles put on this baby, and I'm going to give it back to him fully functional in spirit, mind, and body. And when he's ready for me, he can have it. But I'm going to do everything I can do. But I'm just a high stress guy. I've just learned to appreciate that probably this year.
Who in your life have you found to be calm, cool, collected? What kind of work did they do, or what kind of life? Did they have a big family?
Well, one of the guys, he has 4 kids. He lives on a farm, and he is in the, I think it's an investment type deal that he does, and he's just that guy. What's wrong? What's going on? Nothing. Life's good. He just feels good, lives good. He's got one symptom. That's it. One. And that's the only thing we're working on. And it's pretty serious, and otherwise I don't think I would see him. Because I mean, he literally, I just want, every time I see him, I just want to go give him a hug, because I want to get some of his calmness. You know what I mean? So what I've learned for myself in taking care of my adrenal glands, first, where do the adrenal glands live? They live on top of your kidneys. Your kidneys are on the lower back area, back side of your rib cage, and the adrenals live on top like a little top hat, and they're the first gland developed in utero, which is pretty important. They regulate what we call the parasympathetic or the sympathetic system. The parasympathetic is your rest and digest, your healing and repair system. The sympathetic is your fight or flight, your adrenal response, survival, system. That system is always getting hit. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol levels. People have heard these hormone words, and these hormone words can help you do amazing, extraordinary things. And I can't tell you how many times I've put a patient on a program that shifted them out of a sympathetic stress survival state into a parasympathetic state with something as simple as holy basil. Holy basil downregulates cortisol. It helps to lengthen the fuse. I call it the anti-worry substance. It is an absolute, gem whenever you have worry in your life. And holy basil will literally just keep your cortisol levels under control. And I've seen people pulling them out of that sympathetic into parasympathetic, and their body malfunction. Like their body doesn't even know how to operate in a parasympathetic state. So I have to be ginger a little bit about how quickly I'll put somebody into a different side of the system. But it shows us stuff. One of the things I have to teach people all the time that are on nutrition programs is this is not like, an exact science either. It's an art. Like just downshifting into a different gear and the system has not been there in a long time, it might be a little rusty. It might not know how to function at the capacity that you were functioning before. So sometimes you have to notch down, a little at a time. And those symptoms that kind of pop up on you that are sometimes uncomfortable aren't necessarily side effects in a negative way, as your TV commercials and your pharmaceutical ads indicate. Go see your doctor if this and this and this is happening, and if this is happening. If you're about to die right now, and you don't have time to call 911, call 911, all these things that they say. Those are side effects due to chemical reactions in the body. Yes, we're doing chemical modulation in the body. Very different. Not forcing the body to change inappropriately, dropping your blood sugar too quickly. But when I say moving a person into a state of where their body can rest and digest, there is systems that have to be lined up. You have to have adequate baseline minerals. You have to have essential fatty acids that can repair and turn over. You have to have different nutrients that are essential for your body to go to that parasympathetic state and start repairing itself. Because if you start repairing and doing construction work, but you didn't put the guardrails up, you might drive right off the overpass, and that isn't really a good way to serve the community, right?
Right.
But so what we want to do is we want to be strategic. Molly and I were, mesmerized by the amount of construction that goes on, and I made a comment. Man, think of the guy that had to build all this. I mean, these guys they're just the guys that are implementing it. And then she goes, yeah, but those guys still got to know a bunch of stuff too. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, you got the guy that thinks outside the box, and then you got the guy that actually implements the ideas from outside the box in the box.
And they have to be able to work together.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to transformational and functional medicine. That's where we've got to be playing. We got to be looking upstream, like how is the body working and what are the symptoms that it's giving us? What are the check engine lights it's giving us? What are the reactions it's giving us? And are they a negative thing, something we need to be concerned about? Or are they a sign that the body is responding to nutrition? Guys, do you realize that if I can get your body to shift from a state of, on a 0 to 10 scale, stress, 7, 8, 9, or 10, whatever that is for you, if I can push you down into a 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 run zone in 30 minutes, that's pretty fantabulous. And you might not realize it, but you might be about to blow an O-ring, you know, and that's legitimate. Like, that's a metaphor and legitimate. That could be a stroke, you know, that could be heart attack, you know, something really bad. But we can calm your nerves in the blink of an eye with an herb or a mineral or a plant inside of 30 minutes. Like, that is fantabulous of an idea. Is that possible, Dr. Chapa? You betcha. And a lot of times when we're dealing with adrenal stuff, we're dealing with the acute because people are running around, and Molly can attest to this. You can attest to this. I mean, you're in ministry. People are running around stressed out. Would you agree?
Yes, I would say so, yeah.
For sure.
Especially today, the chaos of the day. Like, the world we live in today is so uncertain. It's so changing, evolving, like so rapidly. Day in and day out, it's something new, right? And it's really difficult to get facts that we can count on. It's really difficult to know. There's like we're in the information age, and I knew this was coming. I just didn't know how it was going to play out. And but there's so much information, you can't figure out which side of the ledger is legitimate. We don't know if it's accurate research or if it's just, you know, scammed or however, you know, plagiarized or falsified or whatever, skewed, you know, and that's a place where I believe in the journey of being transformed, the Bible says we need to go to the one true source and be transformed by what, Gardy? The renewing of our minds. We've got to go to the Bible, the Word of God, the infallible truth, the inspirational lifeblood of our being is to be spiritual. You know, in 2 Timothy 3:16, it says all Scripture is given by the inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. So God's not shocked about all of this stuff that we're dealing with. First and foremost, we have to remember we can cast our cares on God Almighty, the creator of all the universe, Jesus Christ, at the foot of the cross. We can cast our cares on the Lord, and the burden that we bear, He will carry. The yoke that we find hard, we can cast upon Him because His yoke is easy. And we are able to not be anxious about anything. As it says in Philippians 4, 6, and 7, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart, your mind, and your soul through Christ Jesus. So when you're dealing with stress, there's a lot of nutrient-based therapies that we can do to target you out of a situation where your body's about to blow an O-ring, or you're about to fly off the handle, or you're about to make a scene. Instead, what if we could give you a longer fuse biochemically? What if we could give you more neurological tolerance in your brain, in your nervous system, in your parasympathetic system, that rest and digest system? What if we can get you thinking again instead of reacting again, over and over again? Because a lot of times when we react, we jump to a conclusion, and that causes more stress. And then when we renew our mind, that gives us an opportunity to think. I think I have it right here. If not, it's That's going to be a bummer because I just saw it. And I thought it was really cool, and I thought I'd just share it. Let's see. Ah, here it is. The greatest use of your time. Guess what it is? Come on.
The greatest use of our time. Let's see. Molly, I'll let you go first. What's the
part
greatest?
where I give a Sunday school answer? Like,
Would you want a Sunday school
Yes,
answer?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. The Sunday school answer will work. Go ahead.
Let's
That's
try,
all right. That's
you
one.
know.
That's one answer.
Yeah. The greatest use of our time is spending it with our family. I don't know, worshiping God. There's all kinds of things.
All right. How about simply think new thoughts?
That's good.
That's good, right? So whether it's a Sunday school answer or a secular answer, that's a secular answer, think new thoughts. Sunday school answer is trust Jesus. And but the greatest use of our time to think new thoughts. Well, how can you think new thoughts if you don't put anything new in there? You can't. You can't fix problems at the same level they were created. So if you're dealing with panic, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with sleep challenges, if you're dealing with, health issues, headaches, migraines, if you're dealing with hormonal challenges, postmenopausal, if you're perimenopausal, if you are postpartum, if you're infertile, all these different possibilities, the adrenal glands are involved. The adrenal glands are involved in so many facets. They're involved in blood pressure and kidney regulation and blood flow, constricting or not constricting, whether or not you need sunglasses outside. Gardy, do you realize that? Your adrenal glands are responsible for the size of your pupil whenever light is exposed to the eye. Isn't that cool? And there's a cool test you can do. You can take a little pen light or even your camera light and gently, I would say gently now, shine it into somebody's eye. You're thinking, what do you mean? How do you gently? You come in from an angle and you just gently watch the pupil, and then you shine the light into the pupil, and you'll see the pupil constrict or get smaller. And it should hold there for about 10 to 14 seconds. If it can't, guess what happens? What that means? You'll actually see the pupil dilate. It'll pulse at you, and then it'll blow up. And if it does that within 4 seconds, your adrenal glands are toast. And that means that you need intervention. You're on your way to an anxiety hotel.
I saw a meme the other day where it was a overexposed picture, really light, and it was like walking out the movie theater and it's still daytime outside. And I think everybody can relate. If you went and saw a movie in the day and you walk outside and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah.
I forgot it was daytime because you're in this dark theater.
Light.
Yeah. So I guess how quickly your eyes adjust could be influenced by your adrenals.
That's absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. So simply stated, it's really tough to summarize the adrenal glands and just okay, here's these simple little things. I mean, think about it. Everything we talk about on the show at Living Well Clinical Nutrition that we do it's all real simple. Real simple. It's just not easy. Isn't that a bummer?
Right, yeah.
I mean, to think new thoughts, you got to put new ideas in. Mm-hmm. And why people have midlife crises is because they stopped learning somewhere in their between 19 and 22. And they just have been doing the same old thing day in and day out for the next 22, 24 years. And all of a sudden, they wake up one day and say, my life is not what I expected it to be. My life didn't turn out like I wanted it to. I had the world at my fingertips. The world was my oyster at 19. And then somehow or another, I'm 42 and I'm overweight. I'm frustrated. I'm overwhelmed. There's too much month left over at the end of the money. And I'm struggling. And I don't know how to get out. I love that commercial. I haven't seen it in years because I don't really watch TV, but this is what the commercial I remember. It was one of my favorites. Just chuckle. This guy is literally, there's all these different cool scenes happening, and then this last scene, he's got the big house, he's got the swimming pool, he's got the cool car, and he's got the big yard, and he's rolling around on his lawnmower, and it pans in real close to his face, and it looks at him, and the guy he looks tattered, and I mean it looks really really worn out, and he goes, and I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. Can someone help me?
I don't remember that commercial.
So funny. And I just always chuckled, and I'm just,
yeah.
But how often does that kind of life sneak up on people? Because of the lack of new thoughts. You know, there are books you can read on how to de-stress. There's books you can read on how to breathe and control your heart rate, your blood pressure, your sympathetic to parasympathetic response through the power of breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. You could just do simply a free app you can download called Tactical Breather. Tactical Breather. And it is a free app that will teach you how to do block breathing. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds exhale, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds in, and repeat over, wash, rinse, wash, rinse. And you do that for 2 minutes. I had a patient, I can't tell you how many patients I've done this with, but literally I said, they email me or they get a hold of me and I say, look, download this app and here's your supplement for the next, 3 hours. For 2 minutes every hour, I want you to do block breathing because it's actually hard. I mean, if you've never done it before, you'll be shocked that it's hard to do the breath patterns that it asks you to do. And so you can change up, block breathing into different cycles, but just follow the format and try it. And you will be baffled. You'll feel lightheaded. That's blood flow and oxygen, by the way, going to your head. Praise God. You need that. You probably needed that. Your poor brain was starving and it was needing oxygen. Wow, what a revelation. Oxygen's important, Dr. Chapa? Yeah, it sure is. You are not a tree. You don't breathe carbon dioxide. We want to make darn sure that you're breathing oxygen and as much as you can get. And so sometimes taking the time. I remember this yogi that I talked to one time, and he was teaching a laser seminar. And yogi, I mean like a yoga instructor. And he was talking about, cellular health comes in the still point of our breathing. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, this is like way, way out there stuff for me. Like, this was like 14 years ago, and I just didn't know what I didn't know, right? And it's still, even listening to him talk, I was just like, I just repeated it several times. And I just soaked it up and put it in the back burner and said, well, I'll get to that another day. And then one day somebody exposed me to this very app, Tactical Breather. And on the app, I started doing it, and then it hit me. Oh, the still point is when I'm not breathing on the inhale, exhale, and the exhale, inhale. That's what he was meaning. And whoever goes there, whoever goes to the space where it's uncomfortable to get your healing, what a concept. And I just my mind just went, wow. And so I go, okay. So new thought that I had to pull out and dust off the shelf, and when applied to me in a way that I could grab tangibly, apply, I got it. I got the message. So yes, simply breathing could be a supplement that you need to do every 2 minutes for the next 2 or 3 hours, especially if you're prone to anxiety, especially if you're prone to panic, especially, man, if your mind is just racing with thoughts and you can't seem to get your ideas to come out, your loss of names and numbers and words, and you're just kind of like, where do I start, Chapa? Where do I start? Well, first, give us a call, 281-554-8600, or visit our website, justlivewell.com. We got some sweet, awesome little surveys up there that'll help you kind of get an idea, a litmus test of where you are health-wise. And, I just look back over my life, and I feel sometimes like I'm a broken record. Like I say the same stuff over and over and over again. And so I'm always concerned myself that, I'm going to be that 40-year-old, I've just been doing the same thing over and over again. And so that's why I constantly read. My friend influences me. Dr. Tillman, thank you. God bless you, sir, and your family. I'm praying for you. And he blesses me in so ways because he is an avid reader. He reads and reads and reads every topic, every thing he can get his hands on. He reads and reads, and he always sharpens his own axe. And so, and then he organizes his thoughts. I heard George Orwell at a seminar my wife was at this weekend for her homeschool program said that, if you can't organize your thoughts and you can't get that information out there in an organized, succinct, usable way, then you have you have basically a brain body disconnect. Like there's a disconnect in the inability to organize those synaptic responses so that you can get your message across. That could be an adrenal issue. That could be a lack of new information. So we need a daily dose of new words coming in so that we can reprogram our thinking. We need a daily dose of good, healthy water intake, because people don't realize that you can evaporate off 4 or 5 pounds of water overnight, depending on how hard your detox pathways work. I've seen it. I've done it. I mean, it's wild to me. The chemistry set that God has given us is so cool if we would just learn to tinker with it. And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we're going to teach you how to be transformational, not just allopathic or treat this symptom.
Dr. Chapa, there was a question that came in earlier asking if you work with children. I know that your office does work with children, but is this something that kids sometimes have to deal with, the stress of life?
Absolutely. Hence why we're going to Anchor Point this morning to teach a class on this very topic, like how to help children navigate the chaos of life. How do we raise kids in this environment? Kids, by the way, deal with stresses too, and they should be able to deal with it really well because they shouldn't really be stressed at the level that we as parents seem to embark on. But we have to remember that as parents, we have to put our oxygen mask on first and be under care, and we can then serve our family much better. But yes, we have children that come in with all types of ADD stuff, ADHD problems. They have anxiety disorders. They have, I hate to say, even suicidal things. Like we've dealt with the extreme. We've dealt with somebody that's just simply have learned issues or skin irritations or digestive complaints or headaches or, whatever the challenge is. We have wellness patients. Man, they get an earache, they come in and we work on them. We teach mom how to deal with belly pain, how to deal with the 101, 102, 103 fevers. We teach people how to support the immune system. We don't treat, cure, diagnose diseases in our office. We give people tools, resources, and understanding of what we call a therapeutic rationale for allowing the body to do what it has been designed to do by Almighty God. Praise be to the Lord. Thank you. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. So good. So good. It makes me excited. Because you don't have to be a doctor to like in the formative thought that you think, I got to go to this guru on this topic to fix this problem. If you understand transformational system-based medicine thinking, just ask, hey, I'm on a budget, Dr. Chapa. So what if I just worked on one system this month? What would it be? Boom, we work on that system. We find what's right path for you. So make an appointment, come in. We'll try to build it on a budget. Sometimes people bring us some stuff that it's just complex. I mean, they've got symptom upon symptom, diagnosis upon diagnosis, year upon year of abuse to their body, biochemically, emotionally, mentally, physically, and it just takes time, T-I-M-E, to unravel that ball of wax. Can you really unravel a ball of wax, though?
I would not try.
I don't think so.
I think we should just melt that one. Okay, we'll melt that ball of wax.
Yarn, yes.
Yeah, we'll
wax,
crack
man.
the case. We'll unravel some yarn, but we're going to melt the wax.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Yeah, it's much better.
So for the kids, is it the same plans, the same supplements, just altered for them?
Yes. So we have chewable stuff. We have homeopathic stuff. So things that have no taste. We have things that are liquid. We have this one. He's when I've met him, he's 13. Now he's 17, and he's always just been averse to pills. Well, everybody knows, that I am not, afraid of taking a handful of supplements. I just enjoy chemistry that much, and I tinker with a bunch of stuff. But that doesn't mean that you are. So my job is not to fit you in a box. My job, like Molly said earlier, is to think outside the box. Jennifer's job is to think outside the box. Dr. Amber's job is to think inside the box. What works for their patient? We're trying to work with you on your care plan. We want to unite arms and be on the front lines in the trenches with you so that you can get your victory, so that you can press through towards the mark, the finish line, so that you can feel good, live good, and be good again. You understand? So, in this case, I built him herbal liquids, and all we ever give him is we give him brain liquids and adrenal liquids, and we give him digestive liquids, and we give him essential fatty acid liquids, and everything's liquids, and he's cool with it. He's fine with the taste. Well, okay, now I've got the patient they hate the taste of the bitter herbs. Well, guess what? You've got to acclimate, and you've got to develop a bitter palate. Children at the milk level and the sugar level, it has to be taught. No one can ever say they don't love sugar because the taste buds are just genetically in love with sugar from day one that they get a little milk out of the teat. And so when that process unfolds, that is sweet goodness to their soul, and it never, ever goes away. To develop a smell for what I would call rotten cheese, but people love, right? To develop that sense, you got to develop the nose. To develop a taste for, bitter herbs or bitter wines or bitter foods, bitter vegetables, you've got to expose the palate over and over. So we always want to encourage parents, just get little Johnny to try it 17 times over the next couple years, and guess what? He will evolve. I can't get over the amount of stuff my kids will eat. It just baffles my brain. And it is really, I look at it like new thinking every time I put a different stimulant in their mouth. But no worries. I know you're thinking, well, I can't get little Johnny to do that tomorrow, so where are we going to start today? I got stuff that tastes like punch, and that's still what I would call in the healthy multivitamin, multimineral, essential fatty acid department. We have products that you can lean on to build their bones. We have products that you can lean on to strengthen their gut. We have products to creams even for the people that just absolutely, we just up against the wall. We can't do nothing except rub something on them. We have essential oils. See, the beautiful thing about Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is, to Molly's point, we got out the box. We threw the dang box away. We said, you know what? There ain't no box here. We ain't going to fit people in a box. A cookie cutter program don't work. And that's what makes it so very fun. We love the work we get to do because it's ever evolving. So even though I sometimes say and sound like a broken record maybe, I believe the message is the same. The approach is different. I might need a sand wedge. I might need a pitching wedge. I might need a gap wedge. I might need a 9-iron or whatever. I might need a completely different tool because I'm on the side of a road. I might need some sort of car equipment to jack my car up. It's knowing what tool to use when. And that is what we want to teach and empower parents to do for their children. Whether it's a brain issue, they can't focus in school, here's this tonic. Here's this homeopathic that will give the body the model. As long as the one thing that you've got to recognize as a parent is that you've got to put adequate, and I assure you, if you can hear my words, you have an essential fatty acid deficiency. Everybody does. I have yet to meet the person that comes in and is a quote-unquote good dieter, good, healthy quote-unquote person, whatever. Even the calm, cool, collected guy, essential fatty acid problem. The essential fatty acids are it's the cellular makeup of every individual cell in your body. So if there was one thing I told you to support and work on, it would be the essential fatty acid base. Make sure that system is in place. The second thing, because it will affect every tissue, cell, organ, gland in your body. If you can at least give the parameters and you get the boundaries set. See, boundaries are always there, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, to protect relationships, to protect you from the outside, protect you from the inside. Boundaries are important. So these essential fatty acids are the base. So every program I have, that would be I would call a similarity. But guess what, Gardy? Do you know not all essential fatty acids are created equal? Most fats, fish oils that people buy on the market today are what we call in a biochemical ethyl ester base, which means they are heavily, heavily processed and they're useless. They're rancid. They're no good. They're poisonous. They're dangerous. We use a reesterified triglyceride. And what that basically means, it's a fancy term. Just want you to know that, I'm smart today. And I took my vitamins. Hello. And what this does is it helps. It's very minimally tampered with. And it has been, the science is there. So much mounds and mounds of science to support that fatty acid layer around every cell, that it can be in a non-inflammatory state, that it's less injurable. It's more healthy to communicate with its neighbor. There's less feuds going on cellular in the body. And the essential fatty acid base is a great place to start. We use this product called Omega Force. But what if you have a brain kid? Tuna Omega. What if it's an adrenal kid? Black currant seed oil. What if it's an immune kid? Sesame seed oil. We have different oils and different processes. Oh, you're a hormonal hot flash person dealing with this, that, and the other. We have, different oils for you as well. So the beautiful thing is we can modulate a program to fit any case that's coming in the office. And that's the art of what we do, is recognizing that not all bodies are created equal and not everybody can start at the same level. That's why we want you in the office. That's why we want you a part of Living Well's, tribe of wellness advocates. We want you to trust that we are a health and wellness resource. We seminar as often. It's been a little less lately because of circumstances, but heck, we even went on a trip recently and we all tuned in to a 4-hour class, and that was a Zoom deal. It was a little weird, but I mean it worked, and we got some good nuggets out of it and went about our day. We're going to a class in a couple weeks, and we're really excited about one of our favorite docs is coming into town, and we're going to go listen to him, and he's going to blow our minds with how smart he is and how cool his brain is, and it's going to inspire us. He's going to rock our world, and we're going to bring all that new information back. We're sharpening our axe. We're putting in new thoughts and new ideas so that we can formulate our own type of thinking, because thinking is the hardest thing to do in life. It's the hardest thing I do in practice. It's the hardest thing we'll teach our children to do, is to be able to think. Oh, the places you can go if we can learn to think well.
Right now it is 9:59. It's just about 10 o'clock. It's KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. I have Dr. Chapa in. All month long, we've been talking about the thyroid and everything that it does in our bodies, and I know you've been doing these seminars. Do we know what next month holds for us?
Molly?
Yeah.
Can you help me?
August is Brain Month. We're getting back to school. We're focusing on what lies ahead, and we're going to learn how to support the brain in all different ways.
Okay.
So that's going to be a fun talk. So we're going to be talking about, the gut-brain axis, I'm sure. We'll be talking about diet and brain connections. We'll be talking about how to improve synaptic activity in the brain and making the brain fire on all 8 cylinders. Guys, again, transformational medicine. I'm going to talk it over with Jennifer and Molly, my second and third brain, to see what they think. But I really like this idea of talking about the difference between allopathic and functional and transformational medicine, and then talking about our topic, because it helps people reshape their paradigm on how they look at their own health. And I want people to see that, education's a key on a key ring. The more educated you become, the more doors you can open. You don't have to have a degree in order to be educated. As a matter of fact, a doctor is nothing more than a teacher. So if you have something that you can teach today, you're technically a doctor. Dr. Mom, Dr. Dad, and you guys, we all have to just remember, we have to stop wishing for less problems. We have to wish and pray for more skills. And we've got to be willing to learn. We have to be able to be taught. We have to be faithful, available, and teachable. When we're those 3 things, we make the best disciples for Jesus. We make life just is a lot more enjoyable and fun, and we can continue down the road. Does it mean you're not going to have some bumps? Does it mean you're not going to have some struggles? No, but see, the beautiful thing is you'll know what tool to pull whenever you get faced with a challenge. So at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe in you, we care about you, we support you in every way we can. We want you to be a patient at our office. We want you to know that we're going to stand in the gap with you. We're going to pray with you. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to, challenge you to doing some things that you may have never done before. We're going to keep working on you. We are problem puzzle solvers. We find solutions to challenges that you face each and every day. So give us a call, 281-554-8600, or visit our website at justlivewell.com. God bless you all. See you next week.
It's KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right, Facebook, y'all be good, be blessed, have a good day. Share this out and go back and watch all of those the episodes and the kickstarts with Dr. Chapa that we did on the thyroid, and I'm sure you can even access some of those Zoom meetings y'all had as well. I assume
all the talks